There's going to be nothing like the female loneliness epidemic that you're going to see with this generation of women when they hit the 40s. It's going to be out of control.
Many years from now, there is going to be a quiet crisis, loneliness in women especially. Not because women failed, not because they weren't capable or intelligent, but because they were handed a script or a blueprint that left out the consequences. Be self-sufficient, put your career first, you don't need a man. So they followed it. They pushed love down the line. They delayed the family. They treated commitment like something that could always wait until it didn't. Fast forward a few years later. You're older, no partner, no children, no legacy, just some noise to fill that silence.
There's going to be nothing like the female loneliness epidemic that you're going to see with this generation of women when they hit the 40s. It's going to be out of control. When these 20-somethings hit 40-something, there's going to be massive devastation. There's going to be, the pharmaceutical companies are going to be like, yeah, cashing in on the antidepressants and all of that if they go that route.
The trend doesn't appear to be slowing down anytime soon. Surveys, discussions, and everyday conversations suggest that loneliness is becoming a growing concern for many young adults, and women are increasingly part of that conversation. We don't have to celebrate it or resent it. We can simply observe what's happening. Stay until the end, because the bigger picture becomes clearer as we connect all the pieces.
Over 50% of women over 40 are on antidepressants. Let that sink in. Half of an entire generation of women medicated just to cope with life. And no, this is not just about a chemical imbalance. It's about what's really happening to women in midlife. Hormones crash, estrogen drops, sleep disappears, stress skyrockets, and society tells them just to keep going. Take this pill. So doctors prescribe that pill instead of asking why so many women are burning out. They numb the symptoms. Antidepressants are now handed out for everything: anxiety, menopause, hot flashes, insomnia, low libido, overwhelm. But what's the cost of turning emotion into a diagnosis? We've created a culture where feeling too much is a disorder and being disconnected is the new normal. Women are drowning silently too, juggling work, aging parents, kids, marriages, loss of themselves. And instead of support, they get sedated. This isn't a war on medication. It's a wake-up call. Half of our mothers, wives, and sisters are medicated just to survive. What they really need is healing, connection, and purpose as a woman. So before we call it depression, ask, what if it's depletion? What if it's exhaustion? What if it's life just out of alignment? We don't need to medicate us. We just need to help restore the faith in humanity and femininity.
Many men recognize what would improve their lives, yet making difficult long-term decisions is often easier said than done. Years of chasing excitement, validation, or temporary experiences can leave women feeling unfulfilled when those seasons eventually end. Emotional exhaustion doesn't appear overnight. It builds gradually over time. The decisions made today often shape tomorrow's reality.
Part of the reason why there's such a spike in depression and anxiety in women today, because when women look out and see what other women are doing through social media, it looks like women are doing all of the things. That's certainly a highlight reel, as we know, but what are they seeing? They're seeing women have babies, but also go to the Seychelles and also get a master's degree and also give TED Talks and also sit down and have brunch with the girls, but have time to take a Pilates class. And so women are looking at other women and they're getting this constant signal that they're not doing all of the things, which is what all the other women seem to be doing, which gives them this unconscious signal that they're kind of drifting out of the center, which is where the greatest safety lies. And I think that might be an unconscious reason why we see significant upticks in depression and anxiety in women of late. They've always been higher than men, but there's several issues around why that might be the case.
Comparison has become one of the defining habits of the modern world. Social media encourages people to measure their lives against carefully edited highlights, leading many to chase lifestyles they never truly wanted in the first place. Eventually, appearance and reality begin moving in opposite directions. Living for approval rarely produces lasting fulfillment.
40% of girls that use social media are having major symptoms of depression and even suicidal thoughts. And here's why that's happening, is they're looking at all the other pictures of girls posing and looking perfect and spending an hour getting the right angle on the camera, and then they're comparing their features to that person, and it's bringing down their self-esteem. They're also watching other things that are sort of dark and hopeless, and seeing all these confusion around identity. All of those things are bringing down our...
The pressure to fit in has never been stronger. Many women spend more time creating an image online than building meaningful relationships offline, leaving them surrounded by attention but lacking genuine connection. Looking successful and feeling fulfilled are not always the same thing. Quiet evenings often reveal what social media cannot hide.
Why is it so common for women in their 30s to be so depressed? This is what my client asked me yesterday, and there's a very specific reason for this. Depression comes when we feel like there's been a loss in our life. That loss could look like a relationship, a career opportunity, a sense of who we are. So when we start to feel like our life doesn't match what we thought it would look like by a certain age, we'll feel depressed. And for many people, around that age of 30 is when they thought most of their things would work out. That's when they thought they'd have the career. That's when they thought they'd have the family. That's when they thought they'd have the husband. So if our mindset is my life has to look this way to be happy and it doesn't, we're going to feel very depressed. This is why medications and affirmations and all of those kind of things don't work sustainably, because they're not changing our beliefs about what our life should look like. Drop a heart in the comments if this makes sense.
Life experience usually comes from intentional decisions rather than simply getting older. If someone's 20s are spent avoiding long-term goals, those missed opportunities don't automatically disappear with age. Growth requires more than time. It requires direction. The future is often shaped by the habits built long before anyone notices the results.
So I've come to the realization tonight, I'm not made to date in 2023. I don't understand where the hell...
Let it out.
This is going to. I'm not made for situationships, whatever the that means. No, I'm made to be a wife and a mom. I want my man to come home to me. I want to have dinner cooked. I want laundry done. I want to do all that. That's what I'm made for. That's what God made me for. I know people are going to be like, it's 2023. Women don't need to be doing that. I want that. I want that.
Should have stayed with your husband.
Every decision carries consequences, whether positive or negative. Believing comforting narratives doesn't prevent reality from unfolding, and eventually, everyone has to live with the outcomes of the choices they made. Personal responsibility becomes difficult to avoid over the long run. No one else can rewrite those decisions after the fact.
Do you understand what the world is going to look like in 10 years? 50% of women between the ages of 25 and 45 are going to be single and childless. Like, I mean, think about it. If you're married, there's going to be so many women throwing themselves at your husband if he's a half good-looking, decent-earning guy. And over a certain age, women accept being a side chick. I mean, they won't publicly say
that's
under a certain
is
age.
true.
I think it's around like 35. They'll accept being a side chick because they would rather be with the top guy than be with the guy they don't like.
Loneliness is becoming a concern that reaches far beyond one generation. More men are postponing marriage, having fewer children, and spending more years living alone than ever before. That changing landscape will create new challenges for everyone involved. The smartest response is to protect your own peace while making thoughtful decisions about your future.
I predict in the next 10 to 20 years, you are going to see a spike in females having mental instability problems because of all the attention they're getting thanks to Instagram. I've seen girls, right, like female celebrities, right, from like the 2000s, etc. They're all going crazy. Why? Because they hit the wall. They're not able to have the same sexual market presence they used to have 10, 15 years ago, etc. And they're famous. Here's the scary part. There's girls right now that have not maybe Britney Spears level fame, but damn near close. Instagram model type chicks that have that same level of attention that they're getting, that Britney Spears was getting in the early 2000s, and there's a lot of them. So you're gonna see a bunch of chicks going crazy like Britney Spears, because a lot of girls are getting Britney Spears level type attention today thanks to social media. So y'all are gonna see a bunch of girls act.
The years ahead will likely test many men's expectations about relationships, fulfillment, and long-term happiness. Some will adapt, others won't. But there is little value in becoming emotionally invested in choices that aren't yours to make. The healthiest approach is to focus on your own growth, protect your peace, and continue building a life that doesn't depend on anyone else's decisions. That's what being truly unmoved and unbothered looks like. If the message hit, like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to tap into the Patreon link in the description, and I'll see you in the next video.